Actor Lee Sun-kyun of Oscar-winning film Parasite dies. Lee, who was being investigated on drug charges, was found dead in a car in an apparent suicide, South Korean police said. That's really sad. Is it because he was under investigation? Like, because he was afraid? South Korea has some incredibly draconian laws when it comes to drugs, but did he really... Would a person this wealthy and famous really kill himself to avoid what probably would have been fairly lenient charges? Like, it's not like it's the death penalty or whatever. The police were basically blackmailing him for months? Really? An ongoing crackdown on narcotics in South Korea, which has stringent drug laws, has led to cases against a number of celebrities and other high-profile figures. South Korea is such a shithole. Suddenly, hold on. Police harassment. Lee Sun-kyun was, quote, harassed and blackmailed, claim fans. Claim fans, I see. The idea of this being a matter of national import for South Korea is so weird because in America, we basically just assume that all famous people are on drugs all the time, you know? Like nobody in America cares. Nobody's going after it. Unironically, the like relatively legal use of drugs in upper echelons of our culture is probably one of the big reasons why America is such a massive cultural power. I gotta say, like, no matter what industry you're in, auteurs, creatives, and powerful famous people are going to use drugs. And if there's like a degree of celebritydom you have to accept, along with what comes along with it, like Parasite was the biggest cultural export from Korea since what? Old Boy? It's got to be since Old Boy, right? Maybe. Wait, was Parasite or Squid Game first? K-pop? I guess K-pop. That's true. I don't really think of music. You're right. It'd be K-pop, I guess. Parasite was before Squid Game. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we can say at the very least then a powerful cultural export. That Train zombie movie. Oh, Train to Busan. I watched that recently. It was pretty good. Liked it. I liked how the muscular proletarian everyman hero was a good guy the whole time, and how the rich person was evil and craven and cowardly. I thought that was good. I think there should be less subtle propaganda is the thing, okay? I think that if there is a rich person, they should be evil, and if there is a poor person, they should be good, and we should just keep making stories like that. Hostess A made contradictory claims and said, I saw Lee Sun-kyun inhale ketamine powder using a straw. Is that what you do ketamine through? I mentioned ketamine to him and he seemed curious, so I got it for him and he used it. However, Lee passed 3 of the drug tests and was constantly insisting. What would the charge be? Like, what would his sentence be? Up to 5 years in prison. Wait, that's just for cannabis. But if he was doing ketamine... The drug policy of South Korea is one of the strictest of the world. Why would you give a shit about this when your country is dying? Okay? You guys have any idea how South Korea is? Well, funnily enough, you can watch Parasite for a little bit of insight into that. South Korea is like Japan on steroids. Their birth rate is insanely low. Nobody wants to be alive over there. Just cannabis. In my previous job, there was a story of a Korean military exchange student receiving a DUI in the US, and he committed suicide to avoid going back home and being dishonorably discharged because he didn't want to face the family. Yeah, at the risk of, because a lot of people are going to say like, oh, this is a racist stereotype. It's not. Korea and Japan both have incredibly like family honor things. There's a reason why people make the jokes about dishonoring your family, like disembowels yourself, you know? Like that's not, that is both a racist stereotype and also completely true. So, you know, Jesus Christ. It's incredibly... The work culture is incredibly falsified. Yeah, for sure. But this guy didn't have to worry about that. He was rich. This was purely like an honor or jail time thing. Like, it can't be a money thing for him, you know? China, too. I don't know as much about China. I think that China is a little bit less so. I'm pretty sure. It's a mistranslation. It's not about honor. It's about saving face. I think arguably those are similar. Well, I guess that's kind of a blurry cultural thing, but yeah, okay. Yeah. They're a bit distinct. Yeah, this might even just be an honor thing since the comfort women were kept silent in Korea for 40 years because it'd be dishonorable for their relatives for them to speak up about what happened to them. Yeah. Zuko would have definitely killed himself because he failed his honor. Yeah, I guess it is kind of prescient that like the main and first Fire Nation character you meet in the story where the Fire Nation is just Japan is a guy screaming about his honor to like restore his honor for his family, and that's like his main thing. Yeah, that's pretty true. Nah, it's an East Asian thing, Vosh. Would you say it's worse in South Korea and Japan, or do you think it's equally bad in China? I mean, I guess there are other countries in East Asia, but I don't know. Like, it can't be the same in Taiwan, right? Because Taiwan's history and culture is totally different because it's been so westernized by like back dictatorship and blah blah. You know, it's generally pretty bad in the whole region, dude. How badly must the Chinese Cultural Revolution have gone for them to literally slaughter millions of people and destroy their cultural history, and then nothing changes? Like, modern day China is still doing the like venerating the great kingdom shit, you know, the mandate of heaven, and they're like all of the like so many of the cultural, so much of the baggage just persisted in spite of it. Like nothing, they didn't even change anything, you know? Paint the whole country red in two ways. It's because you can't really change culture. That's kind of true. You can't really like, you can't change culture by government mandate, you know? There just have to be changes over time. You can kind of like change it through, you can change it indirectly. You can kind of like nudge it in directions based on what you do, but you can't just take it and put it somewhere else. You can't just make a thing like culture, you know? It has to develop organically. Yeah, it's the difference between like taking a like a ball on a field and moving it, or versus like blowing it in a direction. I guess I don't really know. It's like culture is erosion. It's a process of erosion, you know. I don't know. Either way, really sad that the actor killed himself. You know, hopefully this leads to some kind of public backlash. Considering how popular he was, more people will be like, "Damn, dude, maybe we shouldn't have these crazy draconian laws." That'd be pretty cool. I feel. Who knows? This ain't even new. Well, the death is new. Vosh, are you surprised Mao was completely incompetent and failed at like everything he did? I mean, they industrialized China. They succeeded. That seems to be what the main thing that I'm learning from this is that industrialization must actually be the easiest thing in the world to do because even retards like Mao and Stalin did it, you know? Like, I'm thinking it's like, oh, well, they industrialized the country. That must be very easy, actually, you know, if they managed to do it. It's almost like there are material forces that push a country towards industrialization, almost like a historical materialist force that guides countries in a direction that leads to their development in a material sense, and that you don't actually need genius leadership to do it, you know? And yet Africa can't? Incorrect. Africa has industrialized. I'll have you know that the Western industries that control the extraction machines of their natural resources are heavily industrialized. No. Industrialization happened there. They just weren't allowed to control the industrialization that happened. It's not a racist chatter. It's a valid question, you know? Industrialization was guaranteed to happen in Africa. It just happened asymmetrically because the industries... Okay, the industries that a nation relies on for their wealth and development will determine the extent of their industrialization. Wealthy first world countries rely on people being educated because widespread literacy and arithmetic skills and so on are necessary for a modern service economy. But in a country like, I don't know, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, you know, there are many natural resources that need to be extracted there, and those resources are extracted in an industrialized fashion. But because those processes of extraction don't really rely on the education of the population, more so on them just existing, usually they can just be kept as slave labor, you know, that means that the industrialization can be centered purely around the extraction while most people are left to rot, effectively. Is that true, Masagiri? I guess that would make sense. No, I recall that, Escacarva, but that was that in general, you know, China did advance.